Hello, everybody. The Army of Light Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. Francis, and today is April 9th, 2024. Thanks for joining me for today's weekly briefing. I'm a conscious channel. I'm also what you might consider to be an embodied channel, channeling mostly Melchizedek, although today we have a guest group that came through that I channeled for about an hour tonight that I'm so excited to bring through for all of you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them. And Melchizedek also had a brief message for everybody tonight as well. So, how did everybody do with the eclipse? We didn't get a chance to see it, but a small group and I got together and we did some work around the eclipse, knowing that this eclipse was going to be, and they always are, kind of hotbeds for negative activity, negative energies, rituals, abuse, that kind of thing. So did a small group getting together to help reinforce the earth grid, the light grid. And interestingly, who was really coming forward for us were the Lyrans. So this is a feline group from the star system Lyra. And, I don't know much about the Lyrans. I channeled them back in 2020. I did my one and only stint of light language with them, speaking their language, their tongue, they said. And they talked about supporting us. Well, they came back and were supporting the group with our energy work. And there was also this other group called the Nine who came through. This is the group I have channeled tonight for all of you who wanted to. They basically, it sounds like they want to start coming in with us on occasion to talk about things that they bring to the table. And it sounds like they are some kind of they bring a lot of information, that this intersection between science and spirituality is what they told me tonight. So it was kind of an introduction to the Nine. I don't know if it's the same as the Council of Nine or some of these other groups that have the number 9 in their names. I just, quite frankly, haven't had enough time to do that. Literally, I had no idea that they would be coming through tonight with a message for all of you for this video. So I'm just learning along with you guys. We're rolling with it here. We're going with it. I will say too, this eclipse work was extremely powerful. And before and after this work, I was having all kinds of activations and downloads and like a ceremony with a being that had ram's horns. I don't know if anybody's seen anything like that before. I certainly haven't. I'm feeling really good, very grounded in these frequencies, and getting through kind of some good 3D stuff here that needs to be taken care of. Tomorrow I go to Eastern Washington for this memorial service for my cousin who passed away here 2 weeks ago or so. So spending 4 or 5 days over there with family and helping get this organized and everything. So I haven't even started packing, and it's almost 10 at night here. That's okay. This is all good. It'll all come together, and I'm in no hurry tomorrow. Thanks everybody again for all your beautiful comments around the passing of my cousin, and for all your support for me and for each other, all your beautiful comments on the channel, and for liking and subscribing. All of this helps get the information out to a wider audience, and our subscriber base is growing steadily. So I'm so excited about that. And I will also say that the Queen Elizabeth podcast, the series that I did, the 44 channelings with Queen Elizabeth last year, is really starting to take off. There's they're always kind of some of the top viewed videos, top 10 viewed videos each month that I've been looking the last few months. So I love that. I love that. So welcome if you're new to the channel. Welcome if you're new here. We're doing a lot of talking about negative reptilians. Melchizedek, they are our main guides, and I'll tell you, they're really, really something else. I'm really just feeling so elated to be working with these folks, these incredible beings on the other side of the veil, and more so even, with this new group coming in. The veil is so thin, team. And I've been hearing from many of you who are having really personal experiences with your guides or with Melchizedek, our guides. or your higher selves, and really feeling anchored in this work that we do together. So I'm just so happy for everybody. I'm thrilled to be a part of this group and to be helping bring this information forward. All right, enough chitter chatter. Melchizedek today. Really, it's been so busy with the eclipse and all this other stuff going on energetically. I hadn't done a lot of talking to Melchizedek. And this came in pretty late and it was kind of short. And then I had an appointment. I came back, sat down, and then this other group came in. But here's what Melchizedek had to say. From where we sit right now, Earth is in a bit of a quandary, another tipping point, if you will, a balancing act, a bit of a teeter. Those who are able to stay grounded in these times, these tumultuous times, carry the burden of keeping the whole of humanity from toppling in on itself. This is your role, dear ones. How does that paragraph strike you? What does that feel like in your body to hear those words? It hit me pretty hard today to hear these words and to be prepping for this video to hear these words again. And they continue here. Let us begin by expressing our deepest gratitude to those who heed this call, who take it very serious, who make this work a priority and a focus, even through adversity, insecurity, feelings of unworthiness, and just plain apprehension. Thank you. This dear one here has reached yet a new pinnacle in her evolution. This is in the form of vibration and consciousness. Even she is unaware of the gravity of this place she finds herself in today, the importance of it, and the far-reaching impacts to this collective and beyond. She takes her time in assimilating this knowing and integrating these frequencies. Yeah, team, integrating these frequencies. I'm definitely doing that. And I'm finding myself very distracted. There's a part of me that is kind of resisting this next phase. And as you all know, who've been with me for a while, I kind of freak out and then I settle down and then I'm like, okay. And then I'm ready for the next thing. So it's kind of one of those situations here coming out of this last weekend. They said here, you may know yourselves to be sharing this space with her. So all of you, share this space with me right now. You know who and what you are in truth. And now, dear friends, it is knowing your power as a singularity, working with and behalf of unity consciousness. Consider yourselves in the next phase of your awakening. And then there was a really long pause and I needed to go to an appointment. So that's where we ended it. All right, guys. You know, they were a bit distant today, like as if I get the impression they're very busy. And we knew that this was going to be a really intense year. We're in the middle of it. We are experiencing this now. And remember that the consciousness that's being perpetuated, the darker consciousness being perpetuated through the mass media, where Melchizedek has not minced words when they've said, unplug from all of this, just stop consuming it. This is your, it's a consciousness. It's a negative, darker, denser consciousness that we don't need to participate in. We don't need to be a part of this. It's not helping us. It's not helping anything in these situations that are being shown. So this is the quandary they're talking about, a tipping point, this balancing act, this teeter. And the nine, this other group, talk about this as well. We have the burden of keeping the whole of humanity from toppling in on itself. And it's not just our collective, it's going to be a whole slew of light workers on this planet right now and a whole slew of channelers. I mean, and everybody who's doing the work, the Wayshowers, the light bringers, we're all helping to do this work. We have our own frequency and our own kind of unique take on this. And, this is growing, but, it is, we're being asked to do something pretty specific here in terms of the negative reptilian regime. Um, and I mean, in my mind, just knowing about the negative reptilians and really understanding this as truth this is a burden. It is, it's a burden in one way, and it's just, it's such an honor in another way. So, we have this incredibly challenging job to know and see all of this and to be witness to it through these channeled messages, but then also be holding the light. And remember, team, the whole idea here is that this is a celebration. This is a time for celebration because finally, we're at a place consciously where we are able and willing to carry this information, to see it for what it is. We can only deal with this and transmute this energy after we know that it exists. So this awareness phase that we've been in has been so critical. So it's like, allow this stuff to bubble up and to be seen finally. This is a time for rejoicing because we're finally to this point where we're able to carry this information, to be witness to it. And this is the beginning of the end for all of that. All right, moving on. So this channeling isn't too long, but it did take me an hour. It did take me an hour. So again, through the work with the Lyrans this weekend, on Monday with the eclipse, this group called the Nine came in strongly through one of the group members, and had done some work with me also prior to the group work. And I'd never really heard of them. There are a couple of books out if you are interested in learning more about the Nine. The Nine, A Briefing from Deep Space is one of the books that's out, and it looks like this came out in 1977. And then there is another book by Phyllis Schlemmer, The Only Planet of Choice, Essential Briefings from Deep Space. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what year this was created. And again, I haven't read these books. I think they've been around a while. The Nine have been around a while. I see them as 9 pillars of golden light, where the center 5th pillar is taller than the rest, but kind of this beautiful etheric these golden rods of light. Very, very sweet beings. So I sat down and I wasn't getting Melchizedek, so I thought, gosh, is there anybody else who's going to want to come through? I've got a video to make. Let's make a video. All right. So when the Nine started coming through tonight, and this is the second time this has happened, it's as if a hand comes out and just gently places it on my cheek, like this beautiful, loving little gesture, as if there was a hand there. And I found myself kind of instinctively doing the same thing to them, like putting my hand up as if it was kind of a caress. And then it's like a touching on the heart space, between us. Certainly, feel free to experiment with this energy. Call them in if you want during a meditation and with the intention of introducing yourself. And, picture that happening, this is how these connections get made. All right. And they said, with Melchizedek's permission, we'd love to speak with you and your constituents tonight, Shawna. And I said, wonderful. I said, thank you so much for coming through. I said, could you please start by explaining to everyone who and what you are? I said, if that's amenable to you, certainly you can talk about anything you want, but maybe we can start with an introduction. And they said, certainly, dear Shawna, thank you for this opportunity. We must say that it feels quite nice here, welcoming. We feel your open heart. We know your soul. We feel the depths of your spirit, dear one, quite welcoming, and we thank you. I said, you're so welcome, and you are welcome anytime. They said, wonderful. Shawna, thank you for that. We are the Nine. Similar to Melchizedek, we are a group. Our work here is to relay information that we feel would be most helpful and appropriate for the ones who are able and willing to accept these messages. We leave the heavy lifting of vibrational support, lifting of frequencies, and the overall raising of consciousness to the likes of Melchizedek and others who are focused on that type of work. For us, our mandate is to be a conduit for information that we consider to be mostly scientific by your standards. I said, thank you for that, the nine. I said, could you please talk a little bit more about how you came to find me and this group? Certainly, Shawna, we would be delighted. Our foray into the work of this particular soul aspect and this particular soul group is a byproduct of the support we offer in our partnership with the Lyrans. Our feline friends, the Lyrans, are quite active with this particular sector of the universe, as this is a personal endeavor for them to see humanity and your earth ascend. The Lyrans invited us to join them in supporting you and your constituents more fully as needed and appropriate. I said, most excellent. Thank you so much. I said, can I ask another question? He said, of course. I said, could you tell me in terms that I would understand who you are as the nine? And they said, we will do our best, Shawna. You may regard us as source light, all spectrums of light consciousness. We do not possess physicality in any realm, though parts of our consciousness have occupied physical bodies or physicality prior to coming together as the nine. We take some liberty here, dear one, to give you a more grounded understanding of our existence. So in my mind, I had said, okay, we're talking about previous and time before this and after that. And I was just like getting a little nervous, like, okay. And so they just were trying to calm me down here. Just we're taking some liberty here. So as to explain this to you better. I said, thank you so much. I said, would you and I asked this again, even though they had answered it, but I don't always retain the information as I'm channeling it in real time. So I have a tendency to repeat questions or ask in a different way. So here I did it again. I said, would you consider yourself to be a singularity, like one consciousness now, or do you maintain some sort of a group where there are multiple consciousnesses that make up the nine? And are there nine of you? I said. Excellent questions, Shawna, they said. We will attempt to answer in terms of describing us in a way that is easiest to understand. We do, in fact, consider ourselves to be multiple consciousnesses, as you asked. Originally, there were nine. Now we'd consider ourselves to be containing and utilizing many, many more consciousnesses. Consciousnesses, I guess that's a word, I hope so. We come together where science and spirituality intersect. In terms of your understanding, and we are quite adept at relaying information that for some can be quite pivotal and illuminating in connecting concepts that close gaps in overall understanding and working knowledge of this area of focus. All right, so they are adept at providing information. That is where kind of science and spirituality meet, and kind of bridging some gaps for those of us who kind of need this information and in terms of our evolution. That was a clunky sentence for me to channel from them. And I said, also, if I mess up a word, I said to them, or I don't hear you correctly, please feel free to correct me. I said, my goal is to be a 100% clear channel for you with 100% accuracy. And they said, thank you, Shawna. You're doing a wonderful job. I said, thank you so much. I said, thank you so much for this overview of you and why you might be called the nine. Okay, so you've had nine consciousness that were joined together originally, and you've expanded since then. I said, is there anything else you want to say about yourselves, your dimensionality, about where you may have originated, how you travel, any other things that you're doing, generally speaking? And they said, thank you, Shawna. We keep ourselves quite busy. And just like this situation with the Lyrans, we usually are on call with the groups who work with us. A request is made for support. We learn more about the situation and we make a decision, excuse me, a decision on if and how we will be supporting. We are formless in nature, and this makes us quite nimble and accommodating. Often we are in several places at once, as you would understand this. I said, thank you so much for this, the nine. I said, what would you like to say to the collective here tonight? All right. Thank you, Shawna. They said here first, we'd like to say thank you for your willingness to entertain such a group. We understand your deep fondness for Melchizedek and the commitment that you have to your paths of light. Therefore, it is our utmost honor to be invited to converse with all of you in this moment. Shawna, from our perspective, we consider this moment in your planet's existence to be a reset. Much as you would simply restart a computer when troubles start appearing, this planet is rebooting, resetting, and in fact being reborn. This is a reset on many levels. And dear ones, we understand that this is an extremely simple metaphor for all that you're enduring, and we apologize should this comparison leave you feeling misunderstood or unsupported. We know humanity to be quite emotional, with the capacity for deep, deep compassion, communion, and love. And this is why we are here, they said. While your beautiful Mother Earth makes her transition, we want you to know that you are being cared for, watched over, guided, and nurtured. We've seen what the negative reptilian dark forces, we've seen what the negative dark forces who have a presence here have done to other star systems, other species, other realms of existence. Yeah, remember, team, that this ascension here is not, this is Shawna talking, not the channeling. This ascension here is not just about Earth. I mean, this is absolutely why we are here as light workers, to help with the ascension of Mother Earth. But our work here and the ascension of this planet and humanity has far-reaching implications well beyond our solar system. It's like this whole quadrant of the universe here that has been in fact impacted negatively by these reptilians. So this is not their first rodeo. They've been doing this a lot. And my understanding is that this happened to the Lyrans, however, many eons ago. And this is near and dear to their hearts to come help us at this time. So it's a lot of people working with the Lyrans. There's a lot of us who have been Lyrans recently in current life or past life, or have aspects that are Lyran today. So know that a lot of star seeds are Lyran in nature. Okay. They continued here, the nine. Containing the spread of this tyranny has not been without challenge. The destructiveness of their intentions weigh heavily on those of us who can see and know the truth. And like many who watch over humanity and who have chosen to support you through this transition, we are elated that consciousness here has reached a point where true progress and momentum are being made. As Melchizedek mentioned tonight, this planet and her beautiful inhabitants teeter. Such an interesting word, teeter. We're teetering. For many of you, they said, there's a recognition that something is really off mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in the collective. At the same time, there's a feeling of helplessness, where many are unsure what to do about this. It seems a bit nebulous, hard to pinpoint, and the murkiness and the shadow and the darkness provide wonderful coverage for such things. Aspects of the human condition of today are formed to a great extent through this helplessness, this confusion, this darkness. This is an extremely effective tactic of the negative reptilian regime, who understand all too well how to maintain a mental and emotional stronghold over a species. Thus, The teetering becomes quite real. Lack of sure-footed, lack of grounding, wobbly, untethered, unsupported. Turmoil, suffering, and fear breed more turmoil, suffering, and fear. This is a nefarious exploitation of humanity's highly emotional nature. And yes, it is a travesty. In subsequent meetings, Shawna, it would be an honor to be able to explain further, programmatically, how your conscious intentions and even your subconscious or unconscious intentions power this experience. We feel this is adequate for now, dear one. We thank you so very much for your time, attention, focus, and patience as we introduced ourselves and spoke briefly about these concepts. We are very much looking forward to continuing and growing this relationship with you and your constituents. All right, so I'll go back and repeat that last sentence that they said. In subsequent meetings, it would be an honor to be able to explain further programmatically how your conscious intentions and even your subconscious ones, unconscious intentions, power this experience. All right, so just as Melchizedek had said at the beginning here, consider ourselves in the next phase of our awakening, and it's knowing our power as a singularity. Okay, so this is going to get really fun. Because we haven't been able to know ourselves as powerful in this way, as truly, truly manifesting this experience. But just know, everybody, and they've told us so many times, the work that we're doing here, the light that we're holding, and the presence that we maintain is having a massive impact on this collective. I mean, the burden of helping, this world not topple in on itself. This is just how important it is. And it's everybody as a singularity coming together in unity, right? So it's everybody kind of doing their thing uniquely in their own way, in the best way that they know how. And there are always going to be these kind of ups and downs and this roller coaster that we're on. I'm certainly still feeling that, the elation and then the deflation, the expansion and the contraction, the happy and the sad. These are all very much still part of my everyday. And we're keeping it real here, but we are moving forward. Somehow through all of this, we're moving forward or making a huge difference. So thank you for that. We're in the next phase of our awakening, team. We're in this together. We're doing this in real time together. I really appreciate you guys. I can never really articulate and verbalize just how important you are to me and to what we're doing here as a species evolving to the fifth dimension. It's a really big deal. And I know we're feeling like it's so early on in the process, but like Melchizedek has said in the past, there is no subsequent phases without this phase. This is the building blocks for what's to come. And I think it's just going to get more fun. All right, I'm going to go pack. I'm going to get ready for bed. I love you all so much. Thanks again for everything. And I do plan to see you next week. Mwah.